I'll be around mentally. In my mind, he'll always be there, and I'll never forget about him.
You can introduce him to cigars. This is a little boy.
Speaking of which, I have a box of Dad's cigars. There's a blue box in here. Anybody's welcome to have a smoke of genuine Calvin Steussy cigar.
Outside.
Outside, not inside.
Outside.
Does Dad want to sit next to me?
Jean, for those of us who might not know, will you tell the story of when you met Cal and how you met him?
Yeah, I was working on my PhD in physiology at the University of Wisconsin, and my classwork was first year med school. And so we were in classes together. And I had noticed him because he sat in 2 rows in front of me in histology, and he wiggled all the time. Then in the spring of that year, he invited me to go to he asked if I played bridge, and I said yes. And he invited me to go to a bridge party that one of his friends' mothers was having, because he was home from Purdue, and Sandy McNall, who Cal and I have stayed in touch with. And we played bridge that night, and I won the first prize, and Cal won booty. And I think I saw him every day from then on. And that was the beginning.
How long before you were married then?
That was the spring of his freshman year, and we were married the summer of before his junior year.
A couple of years.
Took a couple of years. He went to Europe the summer after his freshman year. And Robin was in, where was Robin?
Hungary?
Yeah, hungry.
In Hungary. And he visited Robin in Hungary that year. That's how.
I'd like to ask that we have a copy of these 3 remarks.
Oh, yeah.
And if you did put the pictures in with yours, so it'll make sense. And we'll
The,
leave them here at the farm with the other.
well, we can. I'd like to get a copy of Mary's, that's one I don't have. What time is it now?
6:20.
Are we gonna do 10?
No, 20 minutes ago they got published on our website.
But I want a copy here.
Are we gonna do what now?
10.
Yeah.
We were gonna
Pardon?
mention Tim Sandin. We're done. We should do that.
Give it
Oh,
to him.
yes.
Give it to him.
Are there any other
I just
comments on Cal?
I just wanted to say that back in May, I lost my dad. He died, and it was very painful, and I've felt the loss since then, until today. And today was really big for me. We were at that beautiful ceremony out at the cemetery. And the kids were being rambunctious, you know, it was like it was a playground, they're running around. And I looked at them and I said, that's Dad's legacy, kind of like you had in your speech. Because those kids running around have his genetics, they have his curiosity, his generosity, his love of reading and words, and all those things that we love in Dad that's how it's carrying forth in my kids, Ed's kids, and all this extended family. And I felt like I had Dad back because I see him going forth. I can't talk.
Well, one of the best things that Cal ever did was picking his,
Pardon?
one of the best things Cal ever did to show his intelligence and his wisdom was picking you.
Yeah. How did he ever pick it?
That was the luckiest day of my life was when he picked me. Because we certainly had a marvelous marriage.
It went both ways.
We did. And as Callie said, we were on equal footing in everything. And that's just the way he treated me.
I have something to say. I remember when there was one time when we went to the Olive Garden, and we were celebrating your wedding anniversary.
60th.
And yeah, and the one thing that sticks out in my mind that I put towards my own marriage is that I can't remember if it was Andy's mom that asked, Jean, but she said, what's the one thing that you guys do that keeps your marriage alive? And she said that the two of them never go to bed angry. And they always
He
say,
never-
I love you
That's right.
before you.
He never
Go
went to
to bed.
bed, we never went to bed at night without hugging and kissing and saying, I love you.
We don't either,
Sticks
but we're
out.
sure getting tired.
Now we just email it back and forth.
Or text.
We don't do that.
I have a recollection of Cal. I'm Fred Bloom, and we live over the hill. And don't ask me how, but we're related to both the Steussys and the Freitag on both sides. But the recollection I have of Cal was when we were living in New Jersey, and he was going to Yale. He came up for a weekend to visit us, and somehow or other we got playing ping pong in the basement.
Oh my God.
And I thought I was pretty good. There was no contest. And it turned out that he was West High ping pong champion. So that was a real nice experience. And at that time, it seemed as though he was already talking about going into medicine. And that was in the early 40s. Yeah, I don't think he was in the service yet. But he was a good fellow.
Well, the ping pong followed him for years. Yes. We
Yeah,
were all groomed
Two
there.
ping
We
pong
had ping
tables
pong
for
tables in our
Christmas.
playroom that the kids grew up with.
Barbara reminded me that I'm now the oldest of that generation, at least of the males in that generation.
Wow.
Is the distinction that I didn't seek. And I have some thoughts about Cal. In many ways, we were natural opponents. I was a hospital administrator, he was a doctor. I was a Democrat and he was a Republican, as we've heard. He was a cigar smoker, and I was one who didn't care for the cigars. But I always admired and respected Cal. He was, as you said, Mary, he was my big cousin. He was the closest I came to the war. And he and Robin being over there, and I had a high regard for that. I always loved visiting Jean and Cal, and we visited you in a number of places,
I know you
including
did.
Indiana, North
Yeah.
Carolina, San Diego.
Yep.
It was always great fun. So I have high regard for Cal and Jean, and for all the Steussys that I've come to know, particularly in the last couple of years, and I value that very much.
Words of that.
I didn't say words.
We keep finding new Steussys every day.
Well,